titillate the juices. You know what? Woo! Right now. Woo! Woo!
Dr. Hughes invites followers. Oh, let's see if they increase now. Me too. Yeah, wow. Dr. Hughes.
Monkey is mock.
He's a great podcaster.
Tricky is mock.
Acknowledge me.
We coming for you, nigga. Fat!
Yeah, Dr. Hughes, here we go. Keep plugging yourself, that's cool.
You fucking mock!
First up, a man whose looks will serve your inner needs and desires.
Dr. Hughes.
Yes, back again with a whole panel of people. We have the Sleaze here. Did everybody take themselves out? Well, I know Reezy kind of did.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Let's try to bring Danny back in. Here he is. Danny Damage from the UK. The Sleaze, none other than. Let's do all my none other than.
He is none other than.
The Sleaze. And
he is none other than
Danny Damage. Reezy's going to be with us shortly. And let's just check on him. You all right over there, Reezy?
I'm back, man. I'm back.
There he is, just not on cam, which is fine. You got audio for now.
Yeah, I got audio for now. I don't know how to fix my
He is none other than.
At least you're not sitting in the middle of the produce aisle this time.
Oh wow.
Doing one of the biggest interviews in your career, in your illustrious pro wrestling expert career, and you were in a produce aisle at Walmart.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Gotta get shit done.
Hello. So, hello everybody. Everybody follow everybody here, of course. Look for us all over the interwebs. Subscribe now. Hit the like button. Do all that stuff that puts us over. And then we may even try to do this every single Saturday. Who knows? And we'll bring in new people, old people, all that stuff. So before we get into anything else, might as well just get into it. The New Day. That's one of the biggest news things going on in wrestling right now. Of course, they kicked Big E out, and they actually kept the New Day core together as far as Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods. One of my favorite things that came out of that whole shtick and situation is Mia Yim's sister. I didn't really know much about her, but man, that's pretty awesome. She went nuts. I talked about it earlier this week, and it was great. She F-bombing him, everything. Any takes on this? Speak up, somebody.
Well, I thought it was straight up hilarious. First off, I didn't even know Mia Yim had a sister.
Me too.
I didn't even know she had a sister. But yeah, I mean, maybe they'll bring her in for the segments or something, because it was damn near entertaining.
Did you guys see that X took her post off, her initial post going at them? I seen that they put it back on. So, of course, this is most likely a work. They all know each other, all this stuff. But
yeah. It was Kofi. Kofi probably flagged her,
Yeah.
Kofi, the New Day, flagged her.
Imagine. That would be so
reported her page.
Yeah, she was going at him. Here's some little quotes here. I remember she was like, well, Kofi's got his vegan ass, Xavier's childish palate, Kofi has a bird chest, Xavier Woods' single runs was the absolute shits.
It's the shits.
It was.
And then she said the only thing he did do was get a Burger King crown.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
I mean, she didn't lie.
Yeah, Kofi does have a bird chest.
Yep.
I mean, it's been slapped several times.
Damn near sunken in at this point.
Yeah, he's got the Ric Flair thing going on.
Yep.
And the Jericho.
Scott Steiner.
Yep.
Maybe he was just lifting too many weights like Scott Steiner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what it was.
That was the case. From that physique.
But I had a picture of her too to put up because, I mean, these are some silly ass pictures. But let me see. Let me try to replace it real quick because you guys should see this. Look at this real quick. I'll just replace this for now. But that's another one of my favorites.
Looks like Jason Voorhees without his mask.
It does. He looks terrible in that picture. What the fuck?
Holy fuck.
All right. You know what? I'm probably not going to be able to find this. Or it'll take too long. I got to put it into another folder. But it's basically, go Google Big E and his girlfriend there. And you'll see these like ridiculous pictures from several years ago. Like it, I remember seeing it.
He was like a wheelbarrow in one of them, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Fantastic. Look it up.
Yep. Almost as silly as this. Oh, where's mommy?
Oh God.
Mommy picture. Anyway, we almost did. There she is. No. She's with us.
She's part of the panel.
Let's keep her in the panel for a moment, just for fun. Maybe Nia Jax, because we will be talking about Nia Jax too. Look at that one.
Oh Jesus Christ.
All right. Anyway, back to the New Day stuff. Of course, it's great. You know, I like them becoming heels again. Do you guys remember that they were heels when they first started?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's an annoyance.
Yep.
That was the greatest part of their run, I think. It was all the silly sex jokes and little double entendres and all the puns. That was all great when they're heels. But then when the baby faces and they're doing like the pankake or however they said it, like it was funny. It was funny when they were doing that with the rats in the crowd. But then like when they're doing it to children, it's like, yeah, this isn't what I found amusing to begin with. You've steered this in a different direction. But originally, when they were just being assholes, it was great.
Reezy, you love the New Day, right? Or are you off that bandwagon a long time ago?
I was off that bandwagon a long time ago. But, I try to give them some luck when they like, okay, you guys think you could do it on your own, give it a go, but come on, man. Xavier out of all of them needed Kofi and Biggie.
Yep, that was the truth when they were saying that and they're fighting there backstage.
Yeah, and Kofi, I mean, he didn't even try fight. He didn't even try fighting back when he was against Brock Lesnar. He didn't try fighting back. He just
his chest was already caved in. He didn't want to.
Oh yeah.
I know that was so. The things Vince McMahon used to do. It just reminds me of last night, like with the Shorty G stuff. It's like that's right. He was doing Shorty G. He was doing Stardust, and that whole deal. Like he was ridiculous.
And this was all to like keep down people too. Like purposely, it wasn't like, oh, I have this great idea. You're going to be Stardust. Like, come on. He was fucking Dusty Rhodes by doing that.
Yep. Vince McMahon. All right.
I've always said somebody should come out. A wrestler should dress up as Stardust and shoot a promo on Cody. That would piss Cody off.
Imagine if it was Kevin Owens.
Oh God, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
Or Rollins. I said Rollins should have did it back in the day when he showed up.
Definitely.
Just dressed up as Stardust, like, remember me?
I mean, he already pretty much does dress up like Stardust, just minus the face paint.
Yeah, exactly.
He's Mugatu these days to me from Zoolander.
Yeah, good point.
He should come out in one of his fur coats and high heels one of these days and be carrying one of those hot coffees and just go whoops and spill it right in like Adam Pearce's face or something. You might as well lean into it. You look like a maximum male model, Rollins. Your wife is the man, right? And she's wears ridiculous outfits and glasses. Like, what is that character? That sucks, man.
I don't know. They're doing cosplay, like weird fucking cosplay.
Yeah. Sorry, Mommy. I had to kick you off the screen. Mommy Saurus.
She wasn't saying anything, so.
Yeah. She wasn't participating at all. She's no wrestling expert, obviously, or she would have known Liv and Dirty Dom would have found her and broken her whole head and face with a baseball bat. Came back and within a couple of weeks to be in a pay-per-view. I mean, or PLE, sorry. For the old timers, it's pay-per-view. She came back and wrestled a match with a broken cranium, guys. She beat up with a baseball bat.
Isn't this like the third time that Liv Morgan has like seriously hurt her? I think this is like the third time.
Yeah, probably. And you know what? I wouldn't mind if there was a fourth and fifth time, to be honest. Because Rhea Ripley, you know what I think about Rhea Ripley? Well, just she's great in the ring, and you know the kids like her, and she's good for business, and she makes them a lot of money and stuff. But to me,
it's the shits.
You know, just her talking on the mic and the face mask, and then the paint under the face mask. We get it, and then she's just layers of makeup. Like, stop it! Stop getting tattoos. Stop me tooing all the girls with your pins. I don't like any of that.
Yeah, it's getting old.
Mm-hmm. Any Mommy Soros takes? You guys like Lucha Mommy? Reezy fell asleep, I think.
No, yeah. I'm here.
Oh, he's here.
I'm just laughing right now.
Well, we can't see you, so you
the mask.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix. Yeah, I don't know how to fix my camera.
It's all right. No biggie. What's this, Jeffrey Cross? You got something to say? That's how Vince got his rocks off.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, by calling.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean Jeffrey Cross, man. Got to remember, man. Vince used to put some strange stuff on TV back in the day. Like, remember Viscera, the Love Machine. Remember
Big Daddy V.
Remember he was Viscera, the Love Machine.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
He come out with the little person.
Wasn't there like a Thanksgiving gravy match between like the girls?
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. That was, bring that back.
Yeah, they're going to bring back the lube matches and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, at least be honest with it. Be honest with what you're showing, because, yeah, I jokingly call both titles the Ass Cheeks Championships, because most lasses on camera in a wrestling ring have their ass cheeks on display. And most of the lads who are watching, who are apparently like pro into women's wrestling, that's what they're staring. They're staring at their ass. They're not. Look at AEW's women. I mean, we're probably going to get to that in a bit, but the AEW women's division was meant to be like an alternative to Vince and his sort of like over-sexualization of his roster. And it's just as bad, if not worse. It's some of the shit people in the crowd are shouting as well. It's just, yeah, it's not that far off from what Vince was presenting, in my opinion. But there are some good nuggets of talent in there. But yeah, it's the risk of being on television. Some people will just go that extra mile with their the pants up their ass just to show it off.
And they should, in my opinion, do it. Go for
it.
Ladies,
but just be honest about it. Be honest with what it is. If that's what it is, if it's bra and panties, then say that's what it is. If it's Stephanie McMahon pretending she's invented women's wrestling and women altogether, then yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I definitely thought that recently as well. Like, just, you know, now watching AEW again, it's like the women have the ass out. They're basically in thongs, which is cool. I'm not against that. And you can tell in WWE, there are some girls that are a lot more modest, and they're just like, I'm going to wear regular trunks, whether it fits my character or not. Bailey being one of those. She seems to, they seem to like try to push her to wear sexy stuff, and she's just like, I'll wear a jumpsuit, you know? And then you have some of the girls that come out, and it's just in WWE, and it's full on thong. And it's like, you're trying to get over, I get it. Or maybe they just messed up backstage, like I think they have for some women, you know? They just made them like too tiny of pants or something, maybe on purpose, but.
Well, the reality is that sex sells. You know, it is 2024, and it's a lot of stuff has been toned down. It's not like the Attitude Era, but they're still going to put that out there. You know, there's a demographic of creepy fucking guys that's what they watch for. That's the reality.
Yep, it's called the male species.
Yeah,
you know, that whole demographic right there. That's primarily watching your stuff. Yeah, you might want some of the girls to look good. They don't all have to be beauty models and this and that or whatever, but it definitely has its place, right? I mean, most people these days would think like Trish Stratus. God, their names are kind of similar. She's like the biggest thing ever. It's because at the beginning she had tits and ass.
Yeah, they were selling that.
Yep. So it kind of worked into everybody's into the lexicon, into the world that everybody's just like, yeah, she's like at least top 5 all time, right? So
yeah, it just so happens she can wrestle too. So
yeah, and this is what upsets me too about that news. Like you said, that Sleaze, that the WWE, when they go to Netflix, they're not going to become edgier or anything like that. And then I saw a tweet by Nick Khan the other day, because I heard the Roman Reigns a little interview piece where he was like, well, yeah, we're not going to be doing F-bombs and stuff, but we're going to raunch it up a bit, laughing. And I'm like, oh, okay, so there is some hope, like they do plan on possibly making it edgier. Then Nick Khan's like, nope, nothing's changing. It's like,
yeah, I think reading any of that stuff right now, it doesn't matter. Just wait until it comes out. I think they have a game plan. They're throwing out these little things to, pull you one way or the other just to get you interested. And it's typical media shit.
Yeah. Well, it better be edgier, because what the hell? You're going to be on now, like basically like an HBO, a subscription service, and there's got to be a little bit of blood. You don't have to go full AEW. Never go full AEW, anybody. And we've seen what happens when you do that. You want to just have a little bit of blood, a little more ass cheeks from Bailey specifically, and let's go. Let's get this thing running. I mean, when The Rock was doing his thing at WrestleMania this year, calling everybody mofos and beating Cody with the belt, that was one of the greatest things ever.
The greatest thing ever.
Yep.
Yeah, all the demographics were through the roof.
And they haven't done anything similar since. So it turns out, whereas if like AEW, they do it every week, we would have forgotten about it already.
Right.
Yep. Exploding rings. Right.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that something?
Not so much exploded.
Which like just tiny in-house like fireworks. Look like the start of Raw. Like,
and I watched that live. Yeah, I watched that live.
Oh shit. They owe you money, bro. Owe you a spot over there at AEW for just even consuming that. The funniest take about that match, it was Eddie Kingston and Dean Ambrose, right? So, or Kenny Omega, or somebody with something like that. But at the end of the match, Dean Ambrose, I believe, came out, or Eddie Kingston came out and covered Dean Ambrose or whoever was on the ground, and the ring exploded like the way it did. And Jim Cornette, he's like, and then it looked like Eddie Kingston was slumped over his lover and just had a heart attack. When you go and you watch it back, that's what it looks like. It looks like a guy that was just having sex and he's just died on a person. The whole thing was, that was the total shits.
It's the shits.
But in a good way, because it's like one of those great botch moments in wrestling that you can always talk about, like Shockmaster style. Like that stuff never gets old. Like if you're gonna if you're gonna have the shits for a wrestling promotion or something going on, you might as well botch it up, because people enjoy that, and it actually creates a lot of content and puts more eyes on your wrestlers. When they're doing triple flips and they snap their forearms in half and stuff. It's not great for your business technically, but it does make waves out here because people are like, "What the hell? What are you doing?"
The messed up part about AEW right now is that Tony Khan will come out and be like, we're putting out some really good product. We're doing really good.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're not. Embrace the fact that it's shit right now. Like you just said, just to embrace it. And behind the scenes, get some creative people to fix it. But don't go out there and say like, oh my God, we're really putting out a good product, when you're not. Like, you're delusional at this point. And you're just lying to people.
Yeah, his
ego is his worst enemy.
Oh God, it's delusional. It's stupid.
But dude, you got the money to get some writers.
Yeah, no shit. Stop hiring, 10 more wrestlers that won't be on TV or have a bad storyline, and get somebody to write this shit.
If he's surrounded by people that are just telling him it's like the greatest thing to wrestling in the last 50 years or 100, he's not going to stop until Until people get the nose out of his ass and stop telling him how great he is, and everyone just stands and points at the shit he's done on the floor, he's going to just keep repeating this until there's nothing. But if he gives everybody a job, rather than just letting people on the indie scene just drift around, there's going to be a ridiculous line of people just endlessly telling him it's the best thing ever. And this isn't going to stop, sadly.
It's the other way too, because he's listening to like the EVPs who have no friggin' knowledge of wrestling. Like, what? Why are they still a thing? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm new at this, Hanzi. Sorry, but welcome, Hanzi. I didn't even realize you were here, bro.
What's up, man?
Shout out to you, great wrestling fan, famous person from the Howard Stern show. Used to call in all the time.
Yeah, now I'm a post wrestling regular now.
What's your favorite promotion going on? You've been listening to the conversation for a little bit. What do you think about this AEW stuff?
Okay, well, here's the thing. I look at the entertainment world the same way the wrestling world and the political world and all that shit. So when I think that a lot of the stuff now is like it's very profitable for online content, for stuff like, and this goes for all entertainment, where like now we got another billionaire whose the main focus is about how he's shit at his job, and it puts focus on him because he's obviously gonna become a fucking TV character. Like anything that's done on social media is eventually gonna inject itself into the product, which is funny because you guys are talking about how they might not do adult stuff on Netflix. Trust me, a lot of the discourse now online is very adult orientated. There's sex workers type of stuff going on online. That's normally where the establishment practices before they inject it into the product. So that's why I didn't know if I was going to add anything to the conversation, because I'm looking at it at a different level of how they market now with making things like crap on purpose, so it feels more podcast and more content creation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's such a lazy way to do things, though. That's how that happens, I believe. Instead of actually trying to make something good, making a bunch of just, we'll just wing it this week, and if it sucks, then everybody's gonna just talk about how it sucks and blah blah blah. And it's like, how did that work for Joker 2 Folly Ado? It didn't work out pretty good for them. Or any of these companies long term. Like eventually you're gonna have to make like good content for people, or you're gonna lose a lot of folks, like they have in video games.
But don't you feel like because I feel like nowadays it's more about pumping in like forced culture warrior fucking discourse, so you get back and forth going, while I just feel like the products are suffering because it's more about propping up online Discord. Whether people want to admit it or not, it's like
that's definitely a factor right now for sure.
Yes, that's why I stopped partaking in the what does AEW got to do? If they're gonna do something good, they will do it eventually. But like, I'm beyond giving a shit about Jericho. I'm beyond giving a shit, dude. This Adam Cole and MJF storyline, this will be one of like the worst storylines that'll be revisited down the line in documentaries about how they fumbled a great like potential main event feud for a company between two really good guys that just completely just shit the fucking bed, where I don't even really give a shit if they correct their course. Like, I'm just done with MJF and Adam Cole storyline.
Yeah. What does everybody think about just MJF in general? Because he was reaching such a high. He was like the number one guy in the business next to Roman Reigns at one point in the past like 5 years. What happened?
The Four Pillows match. It was the Four Pillows match. Go back and watch that match.
Yeah.
He'd had there was the Jericho dinner dancing thing. That was ridiculous. But then it got a bit serious for a while after that. But that Four Pillars match, it was giving all the kooky, silly stuff in that match way too much time. It was pulling faces, doing the whoa, and it was ridiculous. And after that, it's just been a joke, not in like a good way.
I agree. I agree. That was the point, and it's gotten so ridiculous, and it's sad to see a talent like him go from, like you said, Doc, from like pinnacle. He was like their number one guy to like a pair of clown shoes now. Like, it's what happened.
No, it's no. That's a good point. What they're called? Because I thought like this, like I thought when he won the title that he should have done the Roman Reigns thing, not show up every single week to
Mm-hmm.
bring more importance and all that. And I just thought, yeah, you guys are right. Like it started with the four after the Bryan Danielson. People were already kind of shitting on him. I felt the pro punk contingent online were already marking the seeds of shitting on him right away when he won the title, but I wasn't on board with like shitting on him right away. I think after the Bryan Danielson feud he had, I think when they started doing the four pillars build, I think they overbooked the build wasn't that great. I thought the match was fine. I thought the build wasn't really that great, and I thought it would have been better off if you had built MJF being the one to actually retire Sting. Like, have Sting have his one world title shot, and you can work with someone safe as MJF, and cool do more character work. And I thought like you should have gone in that direction, but then they went into the sports entertainment Adam Cole direction, which for the first part of the feud, okay, fine, it succeeded, it got people excited for the first match, but then after that, I think it completely shit the bed when they started doing the overbooking of the Cole and MJF feud. I think that's after All In 2023. I think that's when MJF really kind of shit the bed for me, in my personal opinion.
I don't even think the Adam Cole feud, the first one, I don't even think that was that great. I think it was the third little vignette they did where it was at that kid's birthday party and they're doing the slow motion. Was it the third vignette? So that's as far as they got before they started getting silly with it.
Well,
so,
no, I'm in agreement that it was silly from the start, but I thought at least it fucking culminated in a good wrestling match where they build a good story around that. I wasn't excited at first about like the storyline and whatever, but I think once they got to the All In main event, I think they did a pretty good job in like telling a good story with all that sports entertainment bullshit aside. I just think after that match, when it became like who's the devil and all that, I think that's when it completely just like went off the rails basically. But I'm in agreement. I wasn't really into the Cole and MJF like a bro type of sports entertainment storylines, but I thought they were doing a good job with the in-ring segments during that build. You know what I mean? I thought they did a good job with the FTR match and all that kind of stuff and their time limit draw. I thought the wrestling elements of that feud were pretty good until the Devil storyline came into play.
Yeah, Reezy, do you have a take on this?
Yeah, I have a take on it. I agree with everything everybody is saying, but I think he's there for a paycheck.
And that's it.
Because remember, when he was a free agent, he was sitting in the free agents for a while, and there was there was stuff coming out of Tony Khan unable to get in touch with him because they were kind of bumping heads for a little bit, and people thought it was a work. I don't think it was a work. I think he knew Tony Khan would overpay him, which is what Tony Khan does to everybody.
Yep.
So yeah, he's there for a paycheck.
I think there's more people that have that same mindset that are in AEW. They don't care what they're putting out. They're there for a paycheck because they know that he's just throwing money out, and you can see it in the product. They don't give a shit,
and it's sad.
There's a huge part of me that this is where I get conspiratorial, and you guys can disagree with me all you want. Part of me wonders if like since like there was kind of like a war brewing between WWE, I always felt WWE injected their guys into WCW to kind of devalue it and take money. And I'm wondering if like Tony Khan now is like playing dead for a little bit, and he's slowly injecting his guys into WWE to kind of like ruin the seed within like with Cody, CM Punk, all the NXT guys that have gone from AEW. So part of me always thinks that it'll eventually down the line lead to an invasion between AEW and WWE, like in 5 years or so, maybe.
I would love that, by the way. That would be amazing.
Like, I say this era should make up for what we didn't get with the WCW invasion. And I feel like maybe, like, on some level, they're doing real life shitty stuff right now in order for you to think that WWE is going to be enough. Because right now, man, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm enjoying the long term. Like I don't know. I want to get the panel's reaction because again, I always hear like people go about the Attitude Era, right? And so I love the Attitude Era in the sense that it felt like anyone can blow up. I thought it was a little bit forced edgelord shit, but I never liked the booking of giving every match away. Like people forget that they gave away Triple H and Rock like 30 times on television before a pay-per-view build, right? And I think now WWE is implementing some of the old school storytelling that doesn't play out week to week. It plays out like over a year or so. Like it's like Savage and Hogan. Like they gave you enough planted seeds throughout the year and a half that they built it. And I feel like with the Bloodline storyline, it's going in that direction. I would say the Bloodline storyline, as far as start to finish, is more successful as a story than the NWO or Austin McMahon match.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah,
if
and
anyone wants to chime in, go ahead.
That's one of the problems with AEWs. I think they come up with an idea, and it's a decent idea, but they don't know how to play it out, and you can see it. Just week to week, show to show, they'll initially have like, okay, we're gonna have this guy against this guy. This is the problem, but then they don't know how to carry it. They don't know how to carry it like WWE for like, a couple of days or even weeks or even months. That's the problem.
Well, I agree. They see again, even when people got on me for this, but even when Hangman's accumulation of him winning the title, they had planted seeds. But they weren't really connecting the other stuff in between that was the greatest at all. It was kind of convoluted. And I always think that AEW has a good start and stop. They know how to do a finale for something and do a good start, but they still haven't figured out how WWE masters the little things of keeping us on our toes throughout the next year or next couple of months or so.
I think AEW, what they need to be doing is like what you were saying about the Attitude Era, and back then how they would have Triple H and The Rock fight each other a million times, and then on pay-per-views and all that stuff going forward. AEW needs to do that right now. They need to be the Attitude Era. They already have the asses out and the blood and all this stuff. Just be more focused on who are your top guys. Who I don't even really know. Everybody's got a fucking belt over there.
You said the key word then. You said focus. That's just what AEW, what Tony Khan specifically does not have. Look at, just to add an example, Tony Storm with her black and white thing. They had a really good idea, and then I can't remember if it was Cornette or Bischoff that had also said this, so it's not like an original idea, but they rushed it. They did like 2 months of television for her in like 2 weeks. And instead of having the start of a character on television for a little while, so you get used to her in this, like in a first form, and then she changes, and then she changes again. They just went from stage 1 to stage 3 in like 2 weeks, and that was it. And like, where's the storytelling? You've just proven you're impatient, and you don't want to go for the journey. You just want the destination, and the journey is how you keep people coming.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No. I was gonna say, I think the Tony Storm storyline, it started out a little iffy, but I think that's like the one actual good storyline that they've actually done a good job with the Mariah May and Tony Storm thing, where they don't like. I think AEW doesn't take advantage of the working relationships enough, where sometimes if a talent doesn't need to be on television, they can go to other promotions, like how Tony Storm is doing it. I think actually the Tony Storm storyline is actually one of the better consistent storylines that they've done with Mariah May, actually. I think the one thing that has gotten better for me, at least, a lot more women characters have become a lot better in AEW. I mean, it's still like iffy booking and all that kind of stuff, right? But I feel like it feel like a lot of these women now are not really empty in the sense that they have no character. I think every one of them have kind of a character going on. So I'll listen. I'm not going to shit on everything AEW does, but there's certain things that they're doing right that I think they're doing right. But there is like scattered booking amongst everyone else. Someone goes from a feud to a feud, and you don't know where it's going. That's why I don't like the Attitude Era booking that much, because I feel like that just makes it even more scattered. Because if you go, maybe because I'm watching Wrestling Bios, this YouTube channel that's analyzing week to week the Monday Night Wars, and I'm looking at the booking, and I'm like, wow, this is honestly some of the most horrible booking that companies have done by giving away way, way too much. They don't build enough hype or interest and all that kind of stuff at times. I think they give away way too much in my personal.
For their main roster guys, it was perfect. Like it was greatness for them. That's what I'm mainly talking about. For the lower level guys, you know, the mid card and under, yeah, it was wonky as hell, especially back then. But for AEW, who are your top guys? Is it really Swerve and Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, who's not even there, and Adam Cole, who's yellow? It's like, this sucks.
I would consider that they've done a good job. I'll say this: they've done a good job building up Ospreay as someone who could potentially be the main event guy. Like all of Ospreay's promos and some of his build for his matches, I think they've been a lot better. He's probably one of the highlights of someone that they've actually gotten right by. He's like taking losses, but they're part of important storylines. So there's certain things I do like about AEW, like the Hurt Syndicate. I like Ospreay and Fletcher's storyline, even though the Callis family storyline has been scattered where Takashita will get a big win over Kenny Omega, and then they're just in a placeholder, right? I think they're finally getting that right. But there's like stuff like Jericho, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, MJF storyline that I'm just not into. But I do think Ospreay is one of the guys that they're building to be a top guy who could actually be a top guy when he does become a world champion.
We've definitely trashed them enough. Like, I want to get everybody's take on what do you like about AEW? Like, what's the biggest thing going for you at the moment? We'll start with this Reezy. What do you think? We haven't heard from you.
That's a tough question because there's so many things I don't like.
Yeah.
I would say one of the things I like about them is well, see, that's a tough one. I like so I like their tournaments they do, like with the continental tournaments and stuff like that, because I think it gives the wrestlers more to do than just going for belts and doing unnecessary storylines. But also with these tournaments, they don't do anything after them. They don't, you know what I mean? I can't think of the word. Right. They don't build up after them. But I just think my thing with AEW is that they have guys that can be stars, but Tony Khan, he treats his employees like toys. Yep. He always wants to get a new toy. He has to stop signing people. He always wants a new toy, and when he's done with a toy, he doesn't use them. For instance, he's very petty. Ricky Starks is a star. Mm-hmm. But you know what? He's killing Ricky Starks right now because Ricky Starks hasn't been on TV for over a year. You know, soon people are going to forget about him, and he's not getting no younger. So I mean, it's a lot of things with that company. That's the only thing I can think about that I like right now. Yeah, they got a lot to work on.
How about you, Danny? What do you like about AEW?
Yeah, not much, to be perfectly honest. Just like Reezy. I like the fact that there is an alternative in one respect. As a wrestling promotion, for me to watch and be entertained, no, there isn't an alternative. But for the talent, they at least now have somewhere else to compare. Coming from NXT and then leaving because they were unhappy with the gimmick or the contract or whatever, they can go somewhere else and see a bit more money and then have something to work with. Well, not if, but probably like for most when they go back to NXT and Triple H and they go back to that WWE teat. And there's a lot that work for AEW that I think would be very, very happy to go back to NXT/WWE now with Triple H and HBK in charge and not Vince. But just for people to realise that the grass isn't always greener. AEW, yeah, he's going to throw loads of money at you because he's just going to see you as his new toy, his new game changer. But after a few weeks, when he's found a couple more new toys, you're just going to get nudged to the bottom of the pile, and you'll start to think, maybe I jumped a bit quickly, even though you've got loads of money coming in. Because if you are a decent worker and you've got something, WWE will fucking put a rocket on you and mark it and push you better and more consistently, for the most part, a lot more than Tony Khan will. Because, like I said, with his focus, he's got none, and he'll forget about you the next week in a very similar way that Vince would. Vince would push things. He'd get a right stiffy for I can't think of any examples, but look at Drew McIntyre when he was the chosen one, for example. He loved that, and there's a lot of people who he'll just get a really sort of like big buzz for short term, and then he forgets about him, doesn't give him any more of a push. Tony Khan's a lot more similar to Vince McMahon than he really would like to believe. They're very different in a lot of ways, but they do have a lot of similarities.
Rich kids.
Yeah.
Please, what do you think? What's your favorite thing about AEW?
I mean, they have good talent, and it's sad sometimes to sit here and watch these programs and they don't do anything with them. You know, I agree with what everybody's been saying so far, where it's like, you know, they'll get a shiny new toy and they put everything behind them, and then when it doesn't work, they just move on. Like Doc, we talked about this, where WWE knows how to pivot. You know what I mean? If something's not working with somebody, they'll still stick with that person, but they pivot a little bit. They need to learn that, you know? I'm a big believer where I think that Tony Khan needs to, first off, become a boss. You know what I mean? And say, okay, I'm gonna hire somebody that's head of creative, and everybody has to listen to him. It's not like this free for all that's been going on for years in that fucking business, in that company. Like, somebody needs to be in charge. And he's obviously not. So he needs to hire somebody that will be in charge.
Hanzi? Well, I mean, you've named a few things that you like, but what's, like, if you could just pinpoint one thing that is your favorite thing about AEW at the moment?
Yeah, I'll say, you know, so I mentioned Ospreay and the Hurt Syndicate. I like how there's been, I'm not saying it's perfect right now, right? I think honestly, when I compliment the women's division, I think even though there's women that are green in NXT, I think NXT does probably one of the better jobs of giving their women wrestlers actual backstories and characters. Like Thea Hale's rise in NXT has actually been pretty good. So I'll say I like the women. I like what they're doing with the women. I like what they're doing with Anna Jay. I like Mariah May's character. I think she's been one of the highlights. Mercedes, her storylines have not been great at all whatsoever, but the matches have been amazing. But right now I've not been impressed with how they've handled Mercedes. It's kind of like how WWE kind of handled her. Like, except WWE at least gave her like main event attraction type of storylines. You know what I mean? But I think like it's like the same type of booking that she was getting in WWE, where now she is mostly the focus of it. But yeah, those are my main things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just not as into. It's not that I'm not into the matches. I just hate how things are scattered fucking booking. Like this Moxley stuff. Like it has potential, and maybe there's a bigger story for it. I don't know. I just feel like right now it's not fucking hitting. But maybe that's the point where we're supposed to like build up months of these guys wreaking havoc, but it has to have more consequences if they're supposed to be a big threat to your promotion, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I'll tell you my favorite thing about AEW. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's Big Boom AJ, the Rizzler, the kids, the whole social media thing like Hanzi was talking about earlier. That's a huge connect. I didn't even know who these people were. Of course, I'm not into like all that social media stuff like as much. I kind of just do my own thing on there and then I'm off there. I wouldn't even be on social media if it wasn't for the show. But yeah, it's just awesome. It's kid-like. It gets everybody involved. People are booing him. People are cheering him. I think it works. Hopefully they get him back. I know he injured himself in that pay-per-view that they had PLE recently or whatever. I think they're still pay-per-views though.
No,
they're not either. They got rid of my pay-per-views. But yeah, big Boom AJ, the Rizzler, all them kids and all them funny-looking kids. And then Anna Jay and all the, I mean, Anna Jay is she's a perfect 10. Like, how many, like, legitimate 10s are out there? not to sexualize all the women all the time in wrestling, but I mean, come on, there you see what they are looking at. She's pouring out of her bra. I'm not even a boob guy, and the boobs are all out in everybody's faces, like across the nation, the world. I'm not.
You're gonna get flagged as sexual again, Doctor. I'm telling you right now.
No.
You're over sexualizing.
It's one of my favorite things, though, in AEW, because Adam Cole certainly isn't it. I mean, he's just getting worse to me, and I hate to like really bury the guy with my takes on him, but he should have been Keith Lee's manager like Vince McMahon wanted. He would have had a better road with that instead of all this. It's just it's terrible. Same thing with Kyle O'Reilly. Same thing with all these no-name, random brown spray tan people that they have over there at AEW. So, I mean, roll with the hot chicks, roll with the social media guys and the funny people. That's pretty much the best thing in AEW, in my opinion.
About the over sexualized question, like discourse. Well, the thing about social media, like, dude, like I'm all for if women wanna, or even for who are into men. Like, I'm not into guys, but if for any talent that wants to sexualize themselves, like I'm all for, as long as it's consent. The thing that makes me kind of like sometimes iffy, and I don't mean to sound like a PC cuck before I get called that. But like but like because you have a history now of people in the entertainment industry putting pressure on women through social media bot accounts to go, oh, we're not going to co-sign you if you don't get sexual. Like, I hate that type of mentality, but I'm not against women or men, whatever, wanting to do that. I just don't want them to feel pressured into doing that, because I've seen the long-term effects of stuff that's happened in the past, and we think that we've become better than the past, but sometimes I think that we're kind of even more in an aggressive mode from back in the day, basically. But I'm all for women becoming more sexier. Like, I have no issue with that. I just feel like when you do the over sexualization, I feel like it's a playground for then the very staunch conservatives to then start advocating for why women should be covering up and all. You know what I mean? Then it becomes like, oh, look at all these.
Don't do it, Hanzi. See, this isn't me. I'm not doing it.
No, I don't. I'm not saying for them to cover up. If they want to do, I'm about, if you want to cover up. If you want to show it all. As long as it's what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're the one consenting to it. You know what I mean?
Right. So you don't want the freak offs. That's what you're saying.
No, I don't want I don't want Diddy freak off. I don't want Vince.
That's not Diddy's mansion behind you. I thought that's what that was.
Dude. That's, how dare you? That's the Tony Soprano mansion, bro.
Oh, it is. So some mansion.
The Tony Soprano. Dude, I've been on a Sopranos kick the last couple of years, bro. Since we last talked, I've been
so random, but I mean, it is one of the greatest. Yep. You know who else loved Sopranos? The Sleaze over here.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's like, if you ask me what the greatest comedy is, I think it's Sopranos, man. To me, in my personal opinion.
Yep.
I agree.
We got to stop AJ in there from watching AEW. His father's walking by the door, shaking his head. He's in there with his Xbox, watching the CEO. She doesn't even say CEO. And you know what? Her theme sucks too. Oh man, everything. I get we're supposed to not like her, but like, it's hard to like not like hate her guts. She's
but the thing is, the thing with her is, and we have a long history, Doc, with her, is people hate her. They don't hate the character. They hate her. What is she a CEO of? Like, I
hate the character, just for the record. Continue.
All right. But a lot of people hate her, and I'm one of them.
Okay, I will. Listen, if Mercedes Monet is watching this, I do not agree with the sleaze. Listen. I think, like all entertainers, everyone has an ego. So when it's amplified on one, it becomes a main thing. But I also think that, like, a lot of these celebrities and politicians now, they, like, especially in politics, they lean into wanting real fucking heat. So I always look at that, like, it always seems like that to me, that Mercedes tries to get that kind of reaction from the internet fan, basically. You know what I mean? I feel like that, and it works, I guess, because the Sleaze hates her. But I mean, listen,
It works because she sucks.
I don't think she sucks. I think she's one of the better. I don't know. I think she's one of the better. Her finishing move hasn't really been that great. To DDT. I think she should just stick to the crossface. But I don't know. I think she's like she does decent. I thought her
in the ring she's great. It's just out of the ring she's the shits. Like annoying,
right? That's the thing.
And even that can be considered great, for what she's doing.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever really shit on her like in ring, ability. It's just her. it's her.
Yeah,
she can't talk. She sucks. She can't talk. She sucks.
She needs to be. See, this is why I thought that she should have been. I think she should have had Stokely as her manager. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I think Stokely would have done better, or she could have just aligned with MVP, because MVP is like one of the better things about AEW. I don't know how you guys feel about. I think the Attitude Era and the Monday Night War era destroyed all the credibility of a wrestling manager, because in the 80s, like in the 80s and early 90s, there wasn't a prevalent owner authority figure storylines, right? And I felt like the managers were the one that politicked your power. So I'm always in for actual classic good managers that what they're politicking for, and what they're like Bobby Heenan politicked Andre the Giant to get a world title shot at WrestleMania 3 by ripping Hulk Hogan's fucking shirt off and snatching his chain, basically. I want managers to be like that. I think MVP brings an old school manager vibe that only him and Paul Heyman seem to be doing, basically, now.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Absolutely.
What do we think about Eric Bischoff? Because he's been going at AEW pretty hard for a while now, to the point where, Tony Khan's being asked about it all the time, and he's like, I just don't care. I don't care. I just ignore him.
He cares.
But Reezy, you've been keep up a lot with the indies. I still consider AEW an indie. If you're not WWE, that's the indies. But what do you think about Eric Bischoff and his takes lately?
I mean, say what you want to say about Eric Bischoff, but everything Eric Bischoff is saying about AEW, we're talking about now. He's been right. We're talking about all this now, and a lot of the stuff could help them, because they have wrestlers that has potential to be stars. They have stars over there. They have things over there that you look at and you say, it should be impossible for you to mess this up. But they continue to do They continue to do that. So, I mean, Bischoff's not lying. I mean, if Tony's ego wasn't so, big, he would have hired Bischoff for his help.
So he's not obsessed, right? Is he obsessed? Like all the marks are coming out and claiming, hey, they're in your head. You're talking about him all the time. It's like, well, this is kind of what he does. But
But I also think Bischoff is part of and again, this is part of a cottage industry where if you're someone like Bully Ray, Jim Cornette, Bischoff, a lot, there is listen, there's criticism about AEW that I can fuck with, and I don't you shit on any criticism. Some of the Cornette stuff, or Bischoff stuff, I feel like there's money involved with them amplifying their hate. You know what I mean? I feel like the whole cottage industry in just getting people to talk about your fucking takes on Reddit, on fucking, everyone. Because now we gotta talk about Bischoff now. I feel like it's just a way for people to basically also make a cottage industry. Like right now, you guys have been giving valid criticism about AEW and your opinions and all that. You guys aren't trying to go for some viral goal to be talked about on Reddit because fucking, you guys just want to get the most reactionary point out there. So that's why I don't really fuck with, even if Bischoff has valid criticism, I don't really fuck with the Cornettes or Bischoffs. I listen to what they say, but I just don't really, I think a lot of it's amplified, I want to be a sports entertainer now.
Yeah. What do you think of Danny, from your take across the pond there? What's an Eric Bischoff to you?
Just from what Hanzi said, I'll agree with Cornette. I think Cornette just sort of like opens his mouth and just lets it fly. I don't necessarily think he has that same agenda. Bischoff is he's really reached in to sort of like not just stay relevant, but he is the example from before that Tony Khan should have learned from. Every mistake Tony Khan has made in the last however many years, it's shit Bischoff was doing and arrogantly going on television and swaggering around and being like, look what I've did, I'm so fucking great. And other people should have learned from that mistake, and Tony Khan hasn't. And he refuses to, so he just ignores everything that Bischoff says. He ignores everything Cornette says. But the thing with Cornette, he came about, and others to be fair, because of what the WWE and other promotions have done and just created that, as Hansi was saying, was the cottage industry. Because they don't care about the promotion, about the product they're putting out 100%, like with its quality, they're happy people just talking about it. So they've created that. It wasn't just like a lot of people on the internet decided, let's find just content out of nowhere. There was like Botchamania that was just like looking at all the shit that wrestling was falling over and was making a tit of itself with. But then, was it the Summer of Punk, where all of a sudden everybody's podcast just got a massive spike because people didn't want to watch the shows, but they were happy to listen to someone like Cornette or whomever just tell you what you've missed. So then you can go, oh, I didn't want to watch 2 hours of this crap, but so-and-so was on for 10 minutes in the middle. I'll go and watch that clip. So I don't have to subject myself to another hour and 50 minutes. That's why, I mean, I haven't listened to Cornette for a few months now, but that was one of the main reasons I'd listen to his podcast, was just so I could hear what was going on in AEW without having to watch the full 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever was on that week, or 8-hour pay-per-view. And then just watch the clips and watch the matches that sounded interesting, because you can have favourites in AEW and you'll see them on the show 1 week and then you won't see them again for weeks, and you keep tuning in to be like, what happened with that guy? But then nothing, and it's like, I can't commit to this. I do appreciate there are some talented people there and some of the angles are okay and they are entertaining, but it's not a good payoff in my opinion to watch all of that just for a very small amount of pleasure.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people, like, just in the chat have told me over the years. They're like, I barely pay attention to wrestling. You know, I'm kind of in and out, but, you know, I'll watch your show and listen to your show because then you can just goof on it for me. And you just tell me all the bullshit and everything else so I don't even have to watch it. And you know what? I wish I had that, like, because now I've been watching AEW more, and I'm just like, this is rough, man. This is like this is a job now, you know, because it's not like I want to watch this and actually remember all this nonsense that's happening and relay this information and everything. But you know what? It's nobody else is watching it either, so somebody's got to do it, you know.
And the thing with the thing that I find, and I want to know about your guys' viewing experience. When I watch a WWE show, right, and I watch it on DVR, right, I can catch up to like a 3-hour Raw in like maybe an hour and a half because like they have so many recaps to seep you in. AEW, man, like if you're taking notes on each match, it'll take you 3 hours to watch a 2-hour fucking program with AEW. It's like they go like there's no breathing room at times and all that kind of stuff. They've been better now with incorporating promo packages and all that kind of stuff. But for a while, man, like I used to take. I've been doing a podcast, right? And I've been recapping stuff as well. I struggle to recap AEW when I'm going like move for move and all that kind of shit because it's just way too much. You know what I mean? That's one thing I like about WWE is that they'll tell more stories within their match now with like the characters that are involved, right? I might not like every single Roman Reigns match, but I can say Roman Reigns knows how to become a really good character within a match where like you have heat for him. He doesn't got to do that much really. You know what I mean? So it's not hard to recap a Roman Reigns match. I want to know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, no, you seem to be right on with that. I feel the same way. I took actual notes while I watched the show for the first time in AEW in like years, and I couldn't believe like how much was going on. And it just like was one after the other, and I actually missed some things because I want to go to the bathroom, I want to make a sandwich real quick, and I missed like several things in a matter of 5 minutes. I'm like, how did this I'm like, that happened tonight? I'm like, I actually watched the show. So there's just a lot of stuff. I mean, I think I got every single match and everything, that all the vignettes and stuff, and I still missed a few things. So it's, yeah, I mean, like I keep saying, they need to just figure out who their top guys are and girls are and just stick with that. Yes, Reezy?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh,
I'm agreeing with you, right? Oh, no.
You have to leave soon?
No, I'm good, man. I still got an hour, man.
Everybody good? I mean, you can leave whenever you want. I'm probably going to go another like half hour or so because we got more stuff to talk about, folks. And don't forget.
Talk about it.
Oh my God! Don't bring that up.
What do we want to talk about?
Oh God, what do you want to talk about?
Like, share, subscribe this video, retweet it, put it all over the world. I mean, give us a push, everybody. We want that push. But next up here, I just want to get everybody's take on my take from the other night. What do you think if Tony Khan would lose the ego, did use his money to like really invest into the product of his business? So my idea is he goes out, he's got 3 shows, right? Maybe even more technically, but the 3 main shows, Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision. You have, say, Bischoff on Dynamite, put Corny on Collision, and Russo on Rampage or something. Let them have their own brands, maybe even mix and match, put Bubba Ray Dudley in one of them, but like literally have like general managers that are going to run your shows, write the shows. He's got endless money. He can pay them all to do this. And then we can really see whose ideas are the best. And then whoever wins out, maybe they can start to use all those ideas in all the other shows and the rest of the brand. And then it can be one cohesive thing at the end of this, whatever storyline that I'm talking about here.
When Collision first started, right? You know how it was CM Punk show originally?
Mm-hmm.
I always felt, because CM Punk is cool with Cornette, I thought Cornette was help ghost booking the early editions of Collision when CM Punk ran it, because those collisions had Cornette isms of how he books. I recognize some of his booking isms from when he booked like OVW and like Smoky Mountain and even like ROH for a time being. So I felt like there were some Cornette isms in the early portions of Collision when CM Punk was running it. But I mean, that might be an idea. I just hate I don't know. Like I just hate the idea that like we gotta now fixate on who's gonna be booking the shows as the main fucking discourse. But if Tony Khan is like not really doing a good job, I guess, and I mean he needs to do something. But I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys want a brand split, or I mean I don't know how you do that in AEW.
I think they can do it.
They don't have talent, but I mean, how would the titles
way too much talent, yeah.
Yeah, too much.
But that's my thing. Imagine if you did like Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, and Jim Cornette in my idea that I have here, and you literally let them pick who do you want to be on your show? Who are you looking to push as your top guys? And girls, and they bring them over. They put them in certain roles. They plan out the storylines that they're going to do. It's almost going to be like a hard reset because this thing is going nowhere fast. It's going to take forever to turn the ship around. You might as well just like snap it out of existence like Thanos, and then bring in. It can all still be AEW, but the look, feel of the show, the top guys and girls that they have, the storylines, the way that they do things will be separate, and nobody will be on anybody else's show.
But my question is though, if they do this brand split that you're trying to incorporate, how do you handle the title situation? Do you create new titles, or
they have so many titles that they could literally just assign the titles to the show, and you go, you guys get this, you guys get that. Like
one show could be focused on trios, while one brand is focused on tag teams, basically, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then how would you handle the world title situation? Would you have the world title holder go to both shows, like kind of like, oh, I'm king of territories, or do you create a new world champion for that brand?
Just have a king of territories. If you're the AEW champion, you get to go on any show you feel like you're the champ.
That's more. If you're talking about adding a new world champion for each brand, I'd be like, no, fuck. I really don't.
And then you would have to. You could drop the strap over it. Like, say Bischoff's guy drops a strap over at Cornette, and he's like insane about it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe you actually lost. You know, and they could be baked into the whole story of it or whatever. And even if, say, one of them croaks, right? Because these are all old guys or whatever, you just replace them with another creative, general manager, whatever you want to call them, EVP, call them whatever you want. It's just, we all know that these are their shows. There's one guy running it, and it ain't Tony Khan. And Tony Khan can be the money man in the background, the mysterious kind of guy. He can pull back from, like you said, possibly becoming a Vince McMahon in the future and maybe hold off on that for a while. So I don't know. I think they have the money to do it. I think it would be great. They could overhaul the whole thing, and it would draw.
One of the best parts is all three of those guys have such big egos, and it would just be great to see them go against each other. Like, Cornette hates Russo. Like, that's one of the things I
can imagine Russo having a better show. Like, technically,
oh my God, it'd be money. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
I would rather Gabe Sapolsky be there instead of Russo. I think after seeing what Russo did in TNA, I really do not want to see Russo book anymore. But, like, I don't know, Cornette could fucking, I still think Cornette's a decent booker with some of the elements. I don't agree with him on the fucking edgelord stuff that he always does. But as far as the wrestling mind goes, the guy is a pretty good. I never shit on him as a wrestling mind. I don't agree with everything that he says, but what they call, I think it's going to lead to eventually some of these guys getting gigs. You know what I mean? The only fucked up thing is that if Tony Khan is not booking anymore, I bet you any money he'll find a way to then become a TV character. And I don't even know if I want him to become a fucking TV character. You know what I mean? But the whole you want him to?
Oh yeah, I want to see him get his ass kicked.
I mean, I just think, I don't know. I just look at how the authority storylines in WWE in the Attitude Era kind of watered down managers, because then it was like there's no point of getting a manager because you might as well associate with the McMahon regime. But then you'd have to do segments about, oh, I gotta kiss Vince McMahon's ass. Like, I don't want to see a kiss my ass Tony Khan club. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see shit like that. Like, if you're gonna do,
you don't want to see him making out with Anna Jay backstage, like forcing himself on her and stuff.
Exactly. I don't want to see that. If you're gonna do something like you know what? I always said this, that I always found the way that they turned Bischoff heel in WCW was done really well, because it wasn't Bischoff coming out and exposing that he's the bad guy that's running NWO. It took Rowdy Piper to basically tie in the connections, and he exposed Bischoff about not reaching out to him. He's like, when you come to my house, which side is this on? Which side is that on? And Bischoff couldn't answer, so he grabs Bischoff, then the NWO run down. And I like the way that it was Piper that exposed Tony Khan. If you do something like that, where somebody exposes Tony Khan as being behind the Elite or being behind Moxley's stable or something like that, then maybe I could fuck with him being a heel character in that regard.
Yeah.
You know
It was me all along, Austin.
No, I think he needs to be, and this is always the best characters, The Rock, Stone Cold. He needs to be himself, but turned up. I think he needs to turn into a character like, I own this place. I know everything. You guys don't know shit. You know, he needs to be that kind of character. He needs to be that, like, Nepo baby, entitled, arrogant, annoying character. Don't follow anything that Vince did. Like, just Tony Khan just blown up.
What you mean? What you're trying to say is you want to see him doing cocaine on live television.
Yes.
On the PLEs, at least.
On the PLEs. You got to pay for that.
Right. Big pile of it in his back office. And then somebody, like a camera runs in there, old WCW style, and they're like, whoops, like when they saw Miss Elizabeth with the beer cans and stuff. That's what we need, except a big pile of Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Tony Montana Coke.
And his face just coming up just in time, like... It just like sprays in the air.
Yeah.
Get
out.
Are any of you guys watching NXT Deadline, or do you guys actually keep up with NXT?
No, I love NXT. Actually, it's one of my favorite brands out of all of wrestling, and it's because of like a lot of the things you said. Like it's younger talent, which means they're green, which I don't mind because, like I said, when people mess up, I think that's funny. And then they're all super hot, even the guys, right? No Diddy. And, it works. It's just a great show. It's on the CW, which makes sense, like a teeny bopper network. And like HBK runs it. I know he hates my guts and everything, but I still love you, HB Nose Hairs. And I will be watching tonight. I keep a very keen eye on what HB Ear Hairs is doing.
I gotta say, I think that I know she's already attractive, and I'm glad that she went beyond just being attractive and she's improving. Is that chick Jada Parker, because I think she's been doing a really,
she's
really
not one of my favorites. That's a no from me.
I really like Roxy's character right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trick Williams is probably one of the better booked wrestlers that they like. For someone that's like not like the best in the ring, I think his character development has been really, 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 really well done. I like the Ridge Holland storyline. Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff in NXT that I like the elements of how they enhance more character work from people, even if it's not always the greatest. Like some of the backstage segment, I groan because I hate the overproduced, like overacting and all that kind of shit. But I think they've done a really, really good job with how they run NXT. And I was someone that was already shitting on the NXT 2.0 brand rebranding that they did, because at first it didn't come off that great, basically. But now they've actually found a niche with them implementing, main roster talents and all that kind of shit.
Hey, he's back.
Sorry,
He's back.
we've got a storm here. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no problem.
It's all good.
Yeah, so we're just talking about the NXT stuff tonight and just basically getting into it. I need to get Reezy's take on this. What do you think about, like, what's your favorite thing with NXT? You do keep up with it, right?
Yeah, I keep up with NXT. My favorite thing with NXT, other than Trick Williams, of course, is Jada Parker. Love
Jada Parker. I'm a Lola Vice guy. I want
Lola
the
Vice?
from the Islands. I don't want the one from the hood.
Another person, Ethan Page, is very entertaining. He's been showing that Tony really dropped the bag with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. But yeah, man, NXT has been killing it. I love what they're doing over there. After Mania, I can't wait to see who gets called up.
Yeah, I mean, they just nonstop have the hottest chicks in wrestling. Then they move up to WWE and they become less hot to me for some reason, because there's other 20-year-old fitness models walking right into NXT behind them. I mean, Jesus, Sol Rook is ridiculous. She's another like perfect 10 in my opinion, even with the goofy tattoos. I mean, they got the hottest white chicks, black chicks, Latin chicks, Asian chicks, blonde, brunette, purple hair. It doesn't even like have everything. They have the best butter faces around. They have the best everything,
Christ, dude.
Even the best
You're gonna
butter.
get flagged as sexual again.
Yeah, let me ask you: Are you guys looking forward to Saturday night's main event around the reboot? I know they tried to do it back in the 2000s. And they didn't really do it that great. I think they're doing a good job, like trying to make it nostalgic for the 80s version of what we saw, whatever, right? I'm looking forward to Jesse Ventura being back for the thing, whatever. But I think they've done some good building. I would have had Gunther versus CM Punk for the world title instead of Finn Balor. I would have wanted that to be the world title. I think that would have done a good number if you had Gunther versus CM Punk and you have Seth Rollins get involved or something like that there. But I'm looking forward to how they're going to do the Saturday main event.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with them having Finn Balor because I think Judgment Day, Finn Balor, they need to be used. Again, WWE, just like AEW, they also have way too many wrestlers. Like, half the roster can get hurt and they would be totally fine. So it's like, Finn Balor's kind of rotting back there with the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day are still a good thing to me, especially connected to Liv and Dirty Dom, just in merch sales. I'm just talking money wise. But Finn Balor he's kind of a known commodity. I never liked him at first. You know me. I thought he was the charisma vacuum, just like Dolph Ziggler said. I thought he was boring as hell. He didn't really have a character other than the demon that would come out. Remember when they tried to align him with the LGBTs and all this? Like, that was like, what are you doing? It's like, that's why, because he's got abs and he does the thing where he spreads his legs.
I think that was because, like, I don't think that they were trying to overdo it. I just think that for one entrance, he just posed for
T-shirts.
But I think it was. But I don't think he was overdoing it. All he did was pose with it, so he shows solidarity with the LGBT. I find that people get too obsessive over, oh look, somebody is speaking on trans rights or something like that. I think sometimes it's just what it is. I don't think it's an ultimate agenda like everyone thinks it is. So I didn't mind that Balor, but I don't think they overdid it where like they were.
I'm not saying it was over. I'm just saying like he had nothing, and they were like grasping at straw. Well, let's align him. Let's make align him with the LGBT or whatever. Maybe we can make money that way. It's just like that's how little of nothing they had for him. But now he's good.
That's weird though, because after he feuded with the Fiend, he went back to NXT in 2019, and I thought he rehabbed his character really, really fucking well. He felt important again, and then he came back to the main roster in 2021, and then the whole Demon Roman Reigns storyline where he fell off the fucking top rope. I think that ultimately for me killed his character, but the Judgment Day storyline started getting better, and I still feel like they'll never capitalize off of Finn Balor's fucking run that he had in his second run in NXT. I thought that was probably his best run in the company, basically.
Rumor has it that they're actually going to do a big push on Finn Balor, like as a top guy coming into next year. So that is a thing that is happening, which I'm excited about, with his character, the way it's been the last couple of months. So
I can see that.
Yeah.
Are you guys? Do you guys think that they're just keeping Gunther as a babyface for this feud, or do you think he is actually gonna start going more babyface? Because I feel like they're trying to do that now with him.
It was weird because he was starting to morph into a weasel, right? Like that weaselly heel, like in this past match against Priest here. And then, Finn Balor comes in, kind of sucks Priest back into the Judgment Day stuff. And then now he's possibly going to be good because I would do it because you might as well. His whole time as champion seems to be running out. What more can they do with him? So they had him as the unstoppable bad guy that ended up with the crown and the championship. Then he was a weasel for a few weeks there, and now they may be turning him into a heel, more of a babyface going into Rumble or whatever, and then he can actually lose there, maybe by cheating or whatever, and then he can chase, as a good guy.
Do you think that Ludwig, the one guy that I think has stepped up as from mid Carter is Ludwig Kaiser?
Yep.
I think he did a good job elevating himself as an important character. Do you guys think that they would give him the IC title from Braun, and then kind of be aligned with Gunther as like, oh, I'm the IC champion, he's the world champion? Or do you think eventually, if they're turning Gunther into a babyface, do you see Ludwig Kaiser stepping up and being one of Gunther's opponents by turning on him? Because it feels like they're trying to push Ludwig to the moon a little bit with his elevation.
I think either way it'd be good, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's cool. With the cold. Other question I had for you guys: how do you guys feel about the? Okay, I was looking forward to Chad Gable's a culmination of forming the Creeds. I think even though I don't mind the Wyatt Six, I think the Wyatt Six first feuding with Gable has taken steam out of what should have been a more prominent fucking stable in the American made. I feel like even though I don't mind this incarnation of the Wyatts, I just think that they really fucked up the booking with not making Gable become the IC champion from Sami Zayn with the culmination of having the Creeds with him. You know what I mean? I just feel like they fucked up that whole storyline better. And I just feel like he's still in a place, him and the Creeds are in a holding pattern. I think they should be the next top stable, in my personal opinion.
Gable had something, this has happened a couple of times with him. He's been on fire, the fans have been fully behind him, and then something else has happened, like whether it's Sami Zayn just gets chucked into that WrestleMania match, or
Gunther.
It gets called Shorty G, they repackage that, or it's a shame, because Gable has something. He has a lot of something, and there's just...
Well, I was asking because I wonder if they're going to pay off, because again, like WWE has done this where like even if they don't go to the storyline right away, that if Gable ends up beating Braun for the IC title, that will complete Gable's whole arc about how it started from him not being able to beat Gunther, him not being able to beat Sammy for the title, and now finally he's at the top of his game by finally beating Braun. I just don't know, because there's compelling stories with the IC title where, like, if you want to give it to Sheamus, who says that the title has eluded him his whole career, that's a story. Ludwig Kaiser being the one to take it off him, that's a good story. Or you could culminate Gable's whole storyline arc of finally winning the IC title and finally get... Cause I feel like this stable with the Creeds, it has legs, and I think they could be a good main event stable in the future if you play your fucking cards right, I guess.
Yeah. I'm fine with them being the first people the Wyatt Six went after, because there's such different acts. Like the Wyatt Six are all spooky and they just show up or whatever, even though it's kind of like they're tweening with it. Like they're, obviously because they have to go wrestle in a ring, but you still have the spooky stuff. And then American Made is clearly like all about the in-ring stuff. So I don't think it hurt their stock, them losing to a spooky or a supernatural team, so to speak. So
no. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I was mad at them losing. What I'm saying is that during the build of of him breaking up American Alpha and forming the American Made, I felt them instantly being pushed into that feud with the Wyatt Six. It derailed the culmination of the of revealing that the Creeds are with Gable. I think you could have done the feud, but you could have done it a few months later instead of letting it like derail the culmination of it, because it was like their stable didn't even get off to a good start before they started losing. Like, you got to have a stable build itself, win the IC title, cause a little bit of dominance a little bit, then you have the Wyatt Six show up. I just thought the timing of the feud was a bad idea. Not that the Gable and them lost. I have no issue with that. I just think the way that they booked and culminated the Creeds getting with them, it kind of derailed it with the Wyatt Six feud.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. What else we got here? Well, we got more.
Can I just ask a question about the Wyatt Six? What do you guys think about the fact that they've not been on a pay-per-view yet, or PLE yet, since they've come to be? They've kept them on television, squashing people, but...
If this were like a couple of years ago, I would have an issue. But WWE's like whole model now is that like they have 5 matches on a pay-per-view, right? Mm-hmm. Where the actual television now feels more valuable, because one of my issues with WWE pay-per-views in the last like 10 years is that they would have the matches all take place on Raw, then you would see it on the pay-per-view, and it's like you're already repeating the match. So I think they've actually, with the stacked roster they have, I think they're able to keep it as an attraction. I don't know how this has legs or not, because I don't know. I think something's cursed with this Wyatt stuff, but I haven't really been as into it as everyone else. I think it's cool the way they're doing it, but I don't think I've gotten into any of their feuds. Like, I'm not going to care about this feud with Cross and AOP and all these guys. You know what I mean? Like,
I love Karrion Kross.
But I do think the characters are really, really fucking cool. I'm just not into the storylines right now as far as it goes right now.
Unfortunately, it's missing one thing, and it's Bray Wyatt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It-
what it is.
It seems to me like a bit of a pity positioning on the card. They get all this spotlight, and I know you've just said you feel like the television's more important, but how they book and how they sell the tickets for it, the pay-per-view, or the PLEs are supposed to be like the culmination of the last month's worth of story. So that's what they want to be showing off. And to me, the fact that they're not putting the Wyatt Six on the pay-per-views to show off, that tells me something, that they're happy to be like, to be polite and let him, remember his brother and the friends of everybody else. But yeah, it's missing Bray Wyatt, and obviously it can't be replicated.
Well, no, but back to your point about like the TV. I'm not saying TV should be more important. I'm saying that Triple H obviously has a method now where he feels he doesn't have to put everything on a PLE. And instead save stuff that's designed for television, in the sense that like you get importance out of watching a Raw, because not every, like the New Day wasn't on the recent pay-per-view, but it's important to watch Raw because their storyline has been building up.
I get
Raw.
that. I get that, and Raw's a great way to just push the story along. But however long the Wyatt Six have been a thing now, they have not been on a single PLE, not a single one. Unless they were on a pre-show that I missed, but I've covered the main events of all the pay-per-views for like however long now, and I haven't seen them on it.
I'm actually surprised they haven't like when they debuted. I thought they'd definitely be debuting at a pay-per-view as like it's one thing not to give them matches, but I always thought that they would at least give the Wyatt Six a segment on a pay-per-view where you get an angle over basically for the television maybe. But yeah, you're right. It's weird. They haven't really been that's why it's all kind of scattered to me a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not as into this as much as everyone else is basically. But I think Bo Dallas is pretty good. I think he's underrated. But I don't know. It's just like I haven't been as into their feuds as everyone else has. I know everyone likes that horror stuff and all that kind of stuff, but me personally, I haven't been into any of their feuds right now. You know what I mean?
Hey, Reezy, you still here?
I'm still here.
Like, what do you think of these crazy white people, the Wyatt Six? Crazy woods people.
Crazy.
It's just missing something, which Sleaze said right. It's Bray. I just feel like trying to capitalize off what Bray did when he was here isn't working.
No.
It's not working. Don't get me wrong. Bray can imitate. Don't get me wrong. Bo can imitate a great Bray, but it's just
he's not Bray.
He's not Bray.
Nope, that's pretty unfortunate. I can't believe, like, of course, one of my favorites. He's the one that has to be deceased, right? Couldn't be Kenny Omega, right? It had to be Bray Wyatt.
Yo, but by the way,
couldn't be Sasha Banks.
Yeah, couldn't be.
Yo, by the way, Dr. Huge, I wanna pitch an idea that I heard someone else say this, but I was thinking the same thing. If you want to get this New Day, Kofi and Woods, like this heel group, off to a fucking like really heatful fucking start, you replace Big E with Ridge Holland, the guy who injured Big E, and you
that would be great.
Wow.
You gentrify New Day, and that's Big E's motivation of coming back. Basically,
I like it. I hear that at a writing meeting, and I'm like, it's done.
Yeah,
dude. As soon as Kofi said, "Yeah, you broke your neck," so what?
Yeah, I
was like, dude. I've never hated Kofi Kingston at all. I fucking hated his guts this past week, man. Well done. That segment was well done, man. See, that's the beauty of a stable that has had ups and downs creatively, that they extended it, where now 10 years in, they made the breakup mean something instead of breaking them up, because people wanted to break these guys up 3 years in, like, oh, this is already getting stale. I was like, no, dude, these guys are doing the long haul of like creating a legacy, even if you're not into the show, into their acts week to week. I thought everything with those guys was phenomenal on Monday, man.
Yep, they swerved me. I was like, I thought Big E was going to be the manager, and that made all the sense in the world. He's already there. He's at the PLE pre-shows and all this stuff. I'm like, well, he's still working there. Why wouldn't he be the manager and come out? I mean, at least it would give the audience. It just was very believable. And then Kofi didn't give a shit about his neck or his girlfriend or her vegan food she was going to prepare for him or any of it.
I actually thought, no, I knew Big E would come back, but I thought Big E would be the cause of them going, hey, you know what? We've been nice guys for the last 10 years. It's time to fucking reunite and really take over this company. So I thought Big E was going to join them, whatever, right? At the most, I knew Woods was going to be the asshole. So I thought maybe he would just be the one who separates, whatever. But go ahead, Sleaze. I'm sorry for talking to him.
Xavier Woods has always been a villain. Okay? So it wasn't a surprise when he was saying his shit. Kofi Kingston, on the other hand, was like, wow, that was a big surprise. Just remember Paige. He's always been a villain.
Yeah. Yeah. A degree in psychology, and you find the broken bird.
Yes.
Bro, that would be hilarious if Kofi mentioned Paige and if Kofi would have mentioned Paige. That's when they were arguing.
Yes.
Big to do it.
They did allude to it before, but
well, there's other planted seeds that they could focus on since they brought up how Kofi lost to Brock Lesnar, right? There was something that was weird. I don't know if you remember this in the pandemic. I don't think anyone wants to remember the pandemic Raws or SmackDowns, but when they did the draft that year, and Kofi and Xavier got drafted to Raw, and Big E stayed on SmackDown. What's it called? Like they all looked disappointed, but Big E looked like he was guilty, like he made a backdoor deal about wanting to separate from them. So maybe there is something there where Big E has been doing something shady as well. Also, another thing, and I don't know because Bray Wyatt's gone now, right? But when Bray Wyatt used to confront Woods, Bray Wyatt alluded to knowing a secret about Woods, and Woods would always be freaked out by Bray Wyatt whenever they interacted. So maybe they will tie in those loose ends. Go ahead, Sleaze. Sorry, man.
I was just making finger gestures.
Oh,
but
my bad.
they could actually do a real good swerve where everyone feels bad for Big E, right? But then he's coming back. I mean, this is what this is alluding to. So when he comes back, he could say, like, listen, I was the star. I was the one they wanted to push. And I was with you guys for way too long. And you could just totally just flip that around and make it even more intriguing. Like there's a couple of things you could do with this.
That's the best thing about just I think WWE right now is, like I said, anybody can get injured. They're doing everything I've been talking about on the podcast for years. It's like try to just long-term storylines. It's a fluid situation now, because like you said, there's a million different angles you can take. There's people you can insert, take out if need be, and WWE's fucking killing it creatively, just like Johnny Gargano and Ciampa last night. That was kind of a swerve too. That's what fooled everybody because they were leading everybody to believe that Gargano's the good guy, and maybe they were going to split him up. There was even rumors out there that they were going to push Gargano as a singles wrestler. Well, they have the tag championships now, so WWE is they've been fooling me a lot because I want to be fooled. I don't want to know everything and go online and go, oh well, I got it all figured out. I know everybody's last name and their social security too. So
yeah,
I thought they would either go. I thought Gargano. I was glad they did the swerve because Gargano was looking like a geek the last couple of weeks of like getting shoved by Ciampa and all that. So I was actually afraid they were gonna go right for Gargano and Ciampa. I do think that they will try to recreate Ciampa and Gargano eventually.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they're getting the heel run because I felt they've botched Gargano and Ciampa's run on the main roster for the last couple of years. Like they've oh look, Ciampa's with Miz for no reason at all whatsoever. One thing I'm looking forward to about that is that I'm looking forward to maybe a heel New Day versus Motor City Machine Guns. I think that feud would be dope if because now they're doing the throwing around different people to brands during the WrestleMania season, like they announced last week, whatever. the other thing that I want to ask you, do you got what the Bloodline storyline has been dope because it's trickled down to affecting many other talents on the roster, right? Everyone's been affected by it, and there's been a trickle down effect of how it's affected everybody. Do you guys foresee that they're gonna do now an anti-bloodline stable with Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre? Because now they have valid opinions about how they're trying to rehab a tyrant like Roman Reigns, basically. I love the story fucking line. I know it hasn't been perfect week to week. There have been some like moments in the storyline overall that kind of feel like, oh, it's a placeholder. I think in general though, this has been one of the best storylines that
it's been easily. It's money. But yeah, what do you guys like, Reezy? What do you think about them creating a whole new stable, an anti-Reign stable? I'm for it. Easy as that.
I'm all for it. I think it's money. It's money. It's money on the table that you can't pass up on. So I'm all for it.
Yep, we need factions, Hanzi.
Wait until Kevin Owens finally confronts Sami Zayn for going back to Roman Reigns. See, that's going to be
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna say the one thing that never appealed to me was that Sami Zayn had to apologize to Kevin Owens because he aligned with the bloodline, right? But if you look at Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's history in the Indies and in NXT and in WWE, it's always been Kevin Owens who has turned on Sami Zayn for the most part. So if Kevin Owens does get mad at Sami Zayn for going back to Roman Reigns, I want Sami Zayn to point out, dude, you're just as bad as Roman Reigns with what you've done to me. You've turned on me every single fucking time.
I'm pretty sure they did that already. Just the first time around with the bloodline. They already did that. They could recall it, but I mean, keep Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn away from each other, or do what I want and send them both to AEW, because that thing is like a sinking ship, and maybe they could keep it afloat for a few more months.
Well, that's the only way I think Kevin Owens would be a world champion, because I feel like in WWE with Cody Rhodes as champion and with Gunther as champion, I don't think Owens is ever going to be a top world champion. As much as I want him to be a world champion in WWE, I mean a proper run. I know he had a universal run that ended by Goldberg fucking beating him and all that. That was fucking stupid.
Actually, that was hilarious because
as a Kevin Owens fan, I hated that. I
just remember Kevin Owens walking out there all sulking. He already knew. He knew what the deal was. Yeah. So it was just funny to me how he was like, he wasn't acting really like a professional. He was still just being like, I'm a douche. I don't care. Whatever. Take my belt, you stupid Goldberg. And then he did.
So, I mean, listen, I don't think Kevin Owens is going to be someone that they're going to give a world title to in WWE, unfortunately. Like, I wish that's the fucking case to happen for at least a little bit. Like, I want him to beat Cody, but I know it's not going to fucking happen. So, yeah, I think
him sending him to AEW?
I think him being AEW would actually, there'll be a better chance of him being a top guy there as Kevin Steen rather than him being a top guy. But I do enjoy his WWE run. Like his storyline arc of being traumatized by the bloodline has been one of the best storytelling methods that they've done over the last year. Like, it makes it mean something with the bloodline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's not wrong, like, with hating Cody Rhodes. That's the funny thing about it. It's just his whining about it, the Karen Owens thing on top of it. Like, hey, you guys aren't my friends anymore. And I was thinking about this all night and blah, blah, blah. It's like you're supposed to be like this tough guy, you know, prize fighter. And you're like, oh, man. It's like you're a grown-ass man, dude.
He's Cartman. Yeah. That's how I've seen him for so long. He is Cartman in wrestling persona.
It's true.
Yeah, I never thought about it like
that. Never thought of that. That's fantastic.
There's one other wrestler who's had very similar Cartman personality, and that was Bobbin. The way he because he was sulk and be like, "Yes, screw you guys, I'm going home." And he was a little bit Cartman, but no, Kevin Owens is full blown Cartman and has been for a while.
Yeah. Fat and all.
Do you guys think that with this Tony Khan talk about, like, you know, him being exhausted from creative and all that, do you honestly think that they will bring Shane McMahon in to fix things?
I feel like that was like a little PR stunt. Maybe Shane was just going to be they were just going to be in the same area at some point. And they're like, oh, it would be funny if, and then we'd have somebody take a picture that made it look like, they just stormed in on us or something. I mean, it could happen. I don't really.
I just don't want to see Shane McMahon against Ospreay, and then Ospreay has to sell for Shane McMahon shitty punches and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want to see Shane in the ring ever again.
Well, the last time you saw him in the ring, he did one jump over the Miz and like broke his whole knee in a million pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And,
Snoop Dogg had to come out and improvise.
I think that Shane met with Tony Khan, and 5 minutes into it, he's like, "This guy is stupid. I can't work with this."
But and he doesn't need the money,
No.
He's Money McMahon.
But going back to your hypothetical before I got shit internet connection, I didn't give you my answer to it. With Tony Khan letting other people be the booker for his shows, the same thing with Shane. It'd be nice if you could get somebody else on board like that, but Tony Khan won't listen. Every time those other people would come up with an idea, Tony Khan would just Vince McMahon it and be like, actually, like 5 minutes before air, he'd come in and be like, actually, he'd get his pencil out, make an alteration on the notes, and that'd be it. And he'd do it to Bischoff, he'd do it to Cornette, he'd do it to Shane McMahon.
Yeah. He would be like, let me ask the Young Bucks. Like,
Let me ask Kenny Omega. Hey, Kenny, take that thing out of your ass. I got a question for you.
Let me ask Cody. Oh, shit.
Yeah, whoops.
This is hypothetical stories. They didn't actually happen.
It would be nice if he could get somebody else on board, and even like Shane McMahon popping his head in just for a quick little endorsement. But it's too much of a control freak, and he wouldn't even let someone like Shane McMahon come in.
Let me ask you guys this about the Kevin Owens story. Would you guys do you guys foresee that maybe Randy Orton being put out by Kevin Owens, right? You expect Orton to come back to get revenge on Owens, but I'm starting to lean towards that Randy Orton will actually see what Kevin Owens has been saying and will agree with it. And I think Orton will feud with Cody eventually, and he'll turn heel on Cody as well. I think to add to Cody Rhodes secretly being kind of a bad guy in some way, I think eventually down the line you will get a Cody heel turn. Even though he'll deny it, I think eventually down the line you'll get a Cody heel turn. But I do see Randy Orton actually turning heel to actually feud with Cody Rhodes afterwards.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
sorry,
Tom.
I think that's like a bigger deal. People are like, I want to see Cody versus John Cena, whatever, right? I think Cody's WrestleMania main event should be him versus Orton, in my personal opinion.
Oh yeah, there's years of history there.
Exactly.
They could do anything with that story.
Legacy, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep. Two well-known guys.
Bring back Ted DiBiase Jr. to referee. No.
I was going to say Damien Sandow.
Right?
Let's get some Rhodes Scholars reunion back. That's what we need. Damien Sandow.
No, everybody forgets he had one of the greatest gimmicks almost of all time as the stunt double for Miz. That was the best.
Yeah. God, yes.
So
it was just so stupid, but it just got over. It was daft.
Taking all the same bumps the Miz was taking in the match. I mean, it was the best.
Gold.
What else we have? I got a bunch of stuff on NXT still tonight. Well, let's just go over the matches real quick. We're gonna wrap this thing up shortly, but we already talked a little bit about Lola versus Jada. They're fighting each other in an NXT Underground match, so it's one of those mixed martial arts type, the Josh Barnett blood sport type deals. And you guys, I know you all love your Jada Parker, and I can wonder why, right? But I'm going Lola Vice. I'll take the smaller ass in this one. Smaller Vice.
No, I think Jada's been doing a good job. By the way, Lola Vice has been doing a good job as well as a character as well. So, I think Jada Parker needs a definitive win, basically, in my personal.
Yeah.
Did Lola win the last Underground match with Shayna? Or
yeah, she did. She beat Shayna Baszler.
So yeah, I think you need to have Jada actually have a definitive victory. She's been getting close. I think she needs it more than Lola Vice needs it.
Yep. I agree. Anybody with any takes on that before I move on?
No.
Nothing. All right. Well, there's going to be a women's Iron Survivor match and a men's Iron Survivor match, which I guess the winners are going to go face the people that have the titles and whenever the next pay-per-view. But we got Sol Ruka, who is the greatest. Then we got Stephanie Vacker, who's awesome. Zarya, Julia, Ren Sinclair. This is going to be a good match. I foresee it. That's a lot of the top stars that they've brought in, like international superstars. I like that what NXT's been doing with that, bringing in women from all around the globe and stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, I gotta say that I thought the Soul Snatcher was a little bit of a convoluted finish, but when I first started, but I thought she has done a good job executing that move in weird situation that, you know what I mean? So I'll gladly say that I was wrong about that move. But I foresee that it'll probably be one of the newer, like Stephanie or probably or Julia, you know what I mean? Because they've been building to that one. But I do think Ren Sinclair, well, dude, she's become one of my favorite characters in the No Quarter Catch crew. I think she's fucking hilarious. I don't think she's gonna win, but I think she'll have a good fucking showing in that match.
And then we have the men's match with Javon Evans, Wes Lee, Nathan Frazier, Ethan Page, and Eddie Thorpe. I mean, you got 3 high flyers, 2 I would say like almost like average wrestling types. With the
you didn't watch the last part of NXT, did you?
Oh, I did. Eddie Thorpe was attacked.
So people are like, oh, because he touched Ava, Rock's daughter.
That's what I said. That's my take.
Yeah. You're the one that was saying that maybe they sent the newer bloodline members like Zilla Fatu or Hakaleo, maybe. But people
or the final boss.
I personally think they'll go the safe route and just do Obafemi or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would hope. Some people are saying that Penta might replace him, maybe. But we'll see what goes on with that one. But I think they'll do the safe thing and do someone in house that took out Eddie Thorpe, basically. You know what I mean? But it'd be a cool surprise to have Zilla Fatu show up randomly or Penta be involved with it.
Everybody's getting attacked lately, and nobody can see it backstage. You got that. You got the Jade Cargill. You got the healthcare CEO in New York. Like everybody's just getting attacked. And right out in the open, there might be like a little camera view of it. So, but nobody knows where the attackers are, who they are. It's like, come on, let's figure this out.
But by the way, if it isn't the surprise that's winning the match, I think it's time to go with Wesley as someone that can step up to face Trick Williams for the title. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know, unless they're gonna have Ridge beat Trick somehow. I don't know. I hope not, but that wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, they're really putting Ridge Holland over. I mean, he essentially ended the New Day the way it was constructed. I mean, he was a part of the reason, and Yoko Ono, Big E's wife or girlfriend or whatever. And then he also ended Chase U, which was one of my favorite goofy things on NXT.
Yeah, dude, I gotta say that was one thing that I was wrong about. I thought it was a stupid idea when it first started. That became one of my dude. I didn't care about Duke Hudson at all whatsoever. That stable made me care about Duke Hudson, man. And I think Thea Hale, her character development in that stable has become really, 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 really good. Yep. So another stable that I was completely wrong about it not being a good idea. It won't. I thought it was going to be like Shane Douglas's Dean Douglas character, basically. I thought it was going to be a short-lived a character stable that was going to happen, but I gotta say that I was wrong about that stable.
You guys remember Duke Hudson was a casino poker pro before he went back to college. So.
Exactly. He was by the way, he was also on the main roster for a little bit with Shane Haste, with MVP managing them as Brandon Wink, whatever his name was. That was like short-lived, and then MVP went for Lashley. But like he was on the main roster for a little bit, but then they basically kind of just put him in NXT, basically.
Yeah. He is huge. I mean, they should be using a bunch of these people more, but definitely guys like with his size, It's funny how they can't like find anything for certain guys. We got the cowboy over in NXT, the big, I always forget his name, They were a tag team at first. One of them's with Sean Spears, and now the other one.
Oh, Brooks Jensen. Are you talking about Briggs or Jensen?
Briggs.
Briggs is like the guy that's with the Japanese guy now. From
Yes, they stuck a cowboy with a Japanese guy, and I'm like, come on, bro. This is like what you did with Corbin and Apollo Crews. What's gonna come of this? It's like I don't understand.
They love doing their odd couple like type of tag teams. You know what I mean? It's a trope they always go. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like Tajiri and William Regal was like, you know, really, really fucking good in the 2001 and all that type of shit, right? And then
Daniel
you have like, who else?
Daniel Bryan and Kane.
Yeah. See, that one, it looks stupid on paper, but that actually fucking worked out as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And then we have 2 more matches. We got the Frazier Axiom duo there. They're the tag team champions still. They've had those belts forever. They're going up against No Quarter Catch Crew, Miles and Tavion. You know, everybody kind of knows of them. Ren Sinclair is really the head person in that group, and Regal's kid too. But, I mean, those two, I expect they're going to win because, I mean, somebody's got to take these belts from these guys. Plus, Frazier's in this men's Iron Survivor.
Yeah, they keep teasing tension between them, but it becomes comedic because they end up on the same page afterwards. But like you keep thinking that they're gonna break up. So I wonder if they're gonna give. I think they should. You know what I mean? I think they should. They should give the tag titles to the No Quarter Catch Crew. I think they need
them.
Yeah.
You know. Mm-hmm. And then the final match is Trick Williams and Ridge Holland for the championship. We did speak on it a little bit, but it's got to be Trick Williams, right, Reezy?
I have a feeling they're going to give it to Ridge, man.
Yeah, same with me, man. I'm with Reezy.
I think Trick is on his way up. Trick is on his way up to the main roster, man.
That's true.
Yeah, if I'm WWE, I would be advocating for Trick Williams to be on the Netflix. I think that guy has enough charisma. You know what I mean? Like he did that diss song to Pete Dunne, right? This guy has mainstream appeal, bro. So yeah, I think that it could be the end of Trick's reign. I hope he actually does keep it for a bit, but there's no way you can have Ridge being pushed. Like you need a good out if Ridge isn't winning the title. You know what I mean? Because that just kills Ridge's character from being credible again. You know what I mean? Because he's already on building up a momentum of taking things out. So if you're gonna have Trick beat him, you need a good out for it. Otherwise, I don't see Trick winning that match.
Yeah. Oh, Ridge Holland with the NXT championship. He's such a bad guy. He's ruining all my favorite wrestling things. But whatever.
But he's a fucking unit. He's a unit.
Yeah.
He is a unit. Ridge the fridge, right?
Yeah.
So why not? I mean, yeah, Trick Williams is already hurt in NXT. He got put through a table before this match. He's walking around. He's still fighting, he says. But yeah, it's a good built-in excuse. WWE loves to do that stuff when they come out and they're like, I'm taped up. I might lose. Like, yep, you might. So that's about it. That's all I got for you this week. That's a solid almost 2 hours here we've been doing. We're killing it. We're doing it over here. Do you know before we leave, Hanzi, do you know anything about the Dabbleverse?
Someone keeps messaging me from like these. Is it Stern related? Because
yes.
Okay, so I haven't been keeping up with the Stern drama, basically.
I thought you would be all over this.
No, I do, dude. I honestly don't care about Stuttering John versus Shuli, bro. I really don't.
I don't think anybody does.
It's so funny though. They're so ridiculous. You know,
they both keep trying to contact me to be a part of this, and I'm like, yo, dude, I don't want anything to do with you
Trust
guys,
me,
man.
You don't want to get. Do not get in the. You don't want any parts of that. These people are nuts.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, and I've had experience with the Stern type of trolls and all that kind of shit, right? So I know how these guys fuck. Like once you get in their vicinity, they think they own every single element of your life. They think they own your time, all that shit. So I'm fine being irrelevant on social media talking about wrestling and all that type of shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, dude, thanks for mentioning it. But if you can give me a link in the DMs of a quick recap of the Dabbleverse, let me know because I want to catch up on it. But I really, at the same time, don't really give two shits about it. Basically, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's funny shit. Funny shit. It's ridiculous.
Oh my god, these people are. Just go check it out sometime, kids. It's too much to even explain right now. It's a whole thing. But anyway, we're going to come back and do this every Saturday. That's the plan right now. I think 2 to 4 seems pretty good for a lot of people. And, thank you guys for coming on. Do you guys want to do you have any plugs? If you do, just start doing them.
I haven't been recording it lately, but I do have a podcast called The Bipolar Coaster. I normally just go over wrestling and politics, but I analyze all the celebrity discourse like it's pro wrestling. Like, somebody's turning a heel, so now you got to become a overly religious figure and all that kind of stuff. So it's called The Bipolar Coaster.
Nice. I'll check it out. Sleaze, you got anything coming up?
Yeah, next Saturday I'm going to be on this show.
Nice.
So look forward to it.
Yeah, and let me know when you're ever free at night.
Absolutely.
How about you, Danny? Anything going on in Danny Damage Land?
Everything you can find me. You can find me on Twitter at Blunt Damage, and you can see everything that I've written about at www.dannydamage.co.uk. A lot of it's wrestling. There's a lot of film, anime, movies, TV, video games, just all regular stuff you'd expect to find. But a lot of it's wrestling. The most recent stuff is just wrestling recaps of the pay-per-views. I did used to keep up with AW and WWE, all the pay-per-views every month, but AW it became so much of a chore, as we were mentioning earlier. So stick with the WWE ones for now.
Cool. And Reezy, how about yourself?
Next month on the 31st to the 5th, I will be doing some streaming. I'm starting a streaming little streaming channel. I'll be in Puerto Rico. I'll be also going to an indie show out there.
Nice.
Wrestling show out there. And I'll be streaming a lot live. So, come check me out. Other than that, I hope you bring me back on, man.
Definitely. You're huge on TikTok. Man. This guy's got so many. I have 5 or 6 followers on TikTok. Follow me at TikTok on here. But Reezy's like swamping me over there. He's like Trump or something on that platform. It's like social just for Reezy. The horror stuff. You're big into horror, right?
Oh yeah.
So there you go. You want your hottest horror takes and things. I love your tweets lately on X.
Oh yeah,
Reezy. A lot of old school horror boobies, which is right up my alley.
Because you like home.
Exactly, I do. Yeah.
Dr. Huge. I don't call you Hugenstein. Whatever. I don't know. It was nice talking to you again, man. I felt like we haven't done this since the Periscope days. I haven't talked to you and Sleaze in a good while, man. So I kind of was like, I'm getting nostalgic for 2019 already, basically.
It was the best back then.
Oh, yeah.
We're bringing it back.
But guys, you guys were awesome, man. Thanks for having me on. I'll try to come on whenever you guys need me to come on, whatever, if I'm around and all that, man. I appreciate you guys inviting me. It was good to converse about the wrestling universe with someone, so I appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah, appreciate all you guys coming on. Danny, of course, it's later there where he is. He's all the way across the world, and he's phoning in. The Sleaze, of course, with his expert analysis. King Reezy, who's an expert in all things wrestling. And, of course, Hanzi. Everybody, thank you for coming on. Everybody out there, thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, like these videos so we can do more of them. That algorithm is a son of a bee. So
son of a bee.
You want to mess with the TOS and say bitch. But I just did. Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Now, Kevin, let me get this straight. Last week you come out here, you disparage the McMahon name, you make heinous, derogatory comments. Shane McMahon got in your face and jumped you, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He was all over you with that. Apparently earlier tonight, someone said to me that, well, you didn't fight back because you respected authority.
That's right.
You didn't fight back because you couldn't. You didn't fight back because Shane McMahon was beating your ass. Respect authority? Kevin, when you look in the mirror, he's fat. how do you have any respect at all? Oh, yeah, big, bad, courageous Kevin Owens. I'm not going to fight back. What am I going to do? I'm going to sue. Let me give you a little hint as to what happens if you file that lawsuit. The moment you do, I'm personally going to be on the phone to your attorney. Hopefully you're there and I'm on speakerphone, because when you file the lawsuit, you will hear these words. Kevin Owens, you're fired! Any idea at all of how many lawsuits I've been in, how many courtroom battles I've been in? Do you know how many I've lost, Kevin? Not one. You see, for better or for worse, the laws of this land are written for people like me. There's a B associated with my name, and that B is billionaire. By the time that lawsuit gets to court, there's going to be a B next to your name. Bankrupt. So there's not going to be a lawsuit. There's going to be a match. And that match will be Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. But it'll be inside Hell in the Cell.
All right, me and Shane, Hell in the Cell, fine. But I need you to promise that I'm not going to get fired after I beat your son senseless. I need you to give me your word that if provoked, I can beat a McMahon senseless.
You got that word.
Oh my God!
You just gave your word that I can beat a McMahon senseless.
This McMahon needs help. Oh, not again! Somebody stop Kevin Owens now!
We got it for you,
We
nigga.
need help out here. Come on!
Somebody's gonna be fired.
No, please. Don't you dare, Kevin! No, Kevin, no! For the love of God, somebody get out here!